motorcycle, right? Hey guys, Joe the Big Nerdy Biker here. This week, we're going to talk about food from Jesseoaks in Gages Lake, Illinois. We are going to discuss some of my early days actually pre-riding and preparing to get into motorcycles and riding. And we're going to discuss some stuff coming up in the future here. Here we go. Alright guys, Joe the Big Nerdy Biker here. Before we get started, I'm going to have to give you the spiel that every YouTube type person has to give you. First, I'd like you to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please leave comments. The only way for me to get better on this is for you to tell me what you like and what you dislike. If you've got anything you'd like me to check out and review and talk about, please put it in the comments. I am willing to go out of my way to try to accommodate things that people would like me to discuss. I'll drop a few bucks on Amazon if there's a product you want me to discuss. I will spend a few bucks to try to watch a TV show or movie. Maybe if I don't have the proper streaming service, something along those lines. Something that you think will be interesting for me to speak about. I'm more than willing to try to do what I can to get that involved here. Follow me on the various social media at Big Nerdy Biker. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, obviously, Twitter. I've got a linktree, linktr.ee/bignerdybiker. That's actually where everything is stored. There's actually an Amazon wish list on there too, with a few things to put towards the channel on there. Don't expect anybody to go on there and do anything yet. I haven't done enough to earn your want to help me out here. I'm still waiting to earn that. But that's going to be there if you ever decide that it's time to help me out here with something. Right now, at this point in the video is when I kind of want to go back and address anything that's left open from previous videos. There was a comment from a gentleman I used to work with. His name is Brett Crowley. I used to work with him at in a warehouse in Vernon Hills, Illinois up here. He actually asked me to speak more on my riding experiences. I haven't done a lot of talking about my riding experiences or riding adventures, and it's no real reason. I've kind of let the riding videos I've taken speak for themselves. I've actually kind of been reserving some of the stories until I thought my channel was, the videos I'm making on my channel were a little more quality, where I'm a little more feeling like what I'm doing is putting out is worth people's time and attention. So I'm starting to feel a little more comfortable with the videos I'm putting out. So today I'm actually not going to discuss anything nerdy. I'm actually going to give a story of some pre-riding times today. Social media's shout out is actually going to go to Wisconsin Truck Takeover Experience, I think it is. It's WTTOE on all sorts of social media. WTTOE is a truck riding group in Wisconsin. Honestly, JoJo's son-in-law is a member. They do go around and do a lot of volunteering stuff. They do raise money for charities, stuff of that nature. That's part of why I'm giving them a shout out. When we had tornadoes through the area not too long ago, they were going around cutting trees, freeing up people's yards. They've held truck shows to raise money. I'm going to throw some links in the comments. Honestly, I don't know these people. I don't. I've been seeing JoJo for a while. Just timing hasn't worked out where I've met her daughter and son, her daughters and their husbands and stuff of that nature yet. But they do put out videos. They put out videos on TikTok, I know, on YouTube. So check them out. Keep an eye out for events by them if you are in the area. I know a lot of my stuff tends to be about local stuff, so if you are local to the northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin area, keep an eye out when they have an event. Attend, help get a few bucks out there, to help whatever charity they're trying to back up at that time. Well, guys, there's some jumping around in my video this week. I've decided to do without notes for this week because I caught myself staring at my notes too much when I was editing videos in the past. But when I was editing videos today, I went on a ramble more than a couple times. My out on the road review for this week is Jesseoaks in Gages Lake, Illinois here, Gages Lake area. It's right off of on old Gages Lake Road. It's a bar near where I live, probably 10-ish minutes away, not very far. I ended up there on Monday. I had a bad case of staring at the same walls for a little too long, and I had to split on out of here. I try to avoid bars. I try to avoid going to straight up bars sometimes because I have some consumption issues. But I ended up at Jesseoaks. I'd gone past them 100 times. I had a little bit of a hard time getting in there. Just having a bad day, just heading in the wrong space. But I showed up there, and when you show up to Jesseoaks, Jesseoaks is a multi-building bar. It's more of a facility than anything. You pull up there, parking lot. Then there's like a little wood fence that separates the parking lot to keep people safe as they're going in and out. When you get there, though, there's like 3 sections. There's like 3 bar sections when you're there. There's a house type building, which inside of the house has like a traditional bar. Then there's an outside bar attached to the side of the house that is in a room, though. So it's like an air room, mud room kind of deal. And then in the back, there's a barn that has another bar. I didn't get as far back as the barn. I decided to set up in the outside bar. There's also a terrace there and a huge area for people to play volleyball as well. There was plenty of volleyball games going. Didn't count how many volleyball spots there were, but plenty of people staying active there. People there with their children as they were playing volleyball. So it was a pretty cool place. I set up shop inside of the sidebar, or asked for a Coors Light in the menu. Settled up shop. While I was there, lots of people that from the outside volleyball checking in, grabbing drinks, stuff of that nature. Went through the menu. I ordered their takeout from there on food delivery services sometimes, so I'm actually a little familiar with the menu. So it wasn't a huge mystery to me when I got there. I ordered a steak quesadilla and a taco. The food came out. It was really good. The steak in both the tacos and the quesadillas super tender. The quesadilla comes with some pico de gallo, some really good pico de gallo, and chips and salsa as well. Pretty good salsa for a bar that doesn't advertise itself as a Mexican place. So it's really decent stuff. Really good food. I enjoy it. Very happy to order from there. I've not had the tacos themselves, but I've had the quesadillas in the past. Wasn't a big surprise. The bar outside, hung out there for a little bit. Hung out with a couple guys from the base that's nearby here. I live kind of near a Navy base. Good times out there. Closed out the outside bar. Moved to the inside bar. Closed the inside bar too. Yeah, had some malort with some new friends, as they say, and shut the place down. Jesseoaks, like I said, I hadn't been there before because it always sounded like a place I'd end up setting up camp, and I did. But I do know of history with them. They have been super biker friendly. I believe they are no colors, but they are biker friendly. Matter of fact, there was some severe storms that occurred a couple years back that had like tornadoes and stuff attached to them, or at least really damaging winds. And they actually allowed the bikers that were at the bar at that time to pull their bikes into the bar to protect their bikes. I'm assuming they had them pull into the garage bar in the back, or the barn bar in the back. But I don't remember all the details. They talked about it on the local radio station, which does events there regularly. I believe every Sunday the radio station has a ride out of there. But yeah, they've taken care of riders in the past, so there's an additional bump. My suggestion is go to Jesseoaks. Jesseoaks is a definite stop in for me. I'll be there again. I recommend anybody else in the area goes there. Any business that takes care of bikers the way that they did, is a major plus in my book, and people in our community should be helping them out, checking them out. So you got the opportunity. You're in the Lake County, Illinois area, Waukegan, Gurnee. If you go to Six Flags and you're on a bike, Gages Lake is right there. Check them out. Stop in, say howdy. Grab a quesadilla. The J.O. burger is pretty good. Their wings are pretty good, decent. So check them out. Grab some chow. Support a business that helps bikers, helps protect bikers. So I was going to tell the story, a story of pre-riding and getting educated the easy way versus the hard way. And it's the moral of the story of the story I'm going to tell is to shut this and open these when you're getting ready to go. Okay. Now I had always known I was going to be riding a motorcycle ever since I was a little 9-pound baby. Like I came out the womb like, hey, I'm going to ride a motorcycle, right? So I always knew I was going to ride. Everybody knew I was going to ride. My mom's been terrified since she popped me out that I was going to ride. When I was finally getting serious about getting a bike, I was working in a warehouse, and I had a truck driver that would come in on the regular, and I'm just going to call him driver as I speak. It's not my place to put people's names out there and things of that nature. The driver was in a club, which I'm just going to refer to as club. And that's not even super significant to the story that I'm going to tell. But, I'm starting to get to the point where it's time for me to start seriously shopping for bikes. I've got a guy I work with who rides. I talked to him a little bit. But, I'm talking to the driver. I'm trying to get as many opinions as I can about what's going on. And understanding the scene. So I'm listening to driver quite a bit, because driver will talk a little bit about rides and hanging out and stuff that he's been doing. He'll give me a little bit of story that's a little more like, ooh, this is some fun meat and potatoes I want to hear. So one day, driver's hanging out at my work. He's actually hanging out with another employee at the end of the day on the property, jaw jacking, and I'm headed out the door. And I'm wearing my leather jacket with a denim vest over the top of it. My old rock and roll patch vest, like we all used to wear in the 90s and stuff. And this is the spiritual successor to that vest, right? So it's got all my rock and roll patches and stuff on it, all my rock bands and stuff. And I'm walking on out the door, and at the time, on the back, instead of this Skinner patch, is a Black Label Society shirt that's sewn onto it. And at the time, the Black Label Society's shirt and their main logo stuff was this 3-piece patch looking thing here, right? Where it had a top rocker, lower rocker, the middle piece, and not a cube, but a little thing there that had their little logo in it. Very, motorcycle, very, very club vest reminiscent. And this is days pre Sons of Anarchy, before every dipshit in the world was running around wearing shit like that, right? So I'm walking out the door, and driver's like, hey Joe. I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, hey, come on over here. I'm like, yeah, hey man, what's happening? He's like, hey, what's up with that jacket? What's up with that vest? I go, oh, it's my rock patch. Here's Skinner, here's Anthrax, here's Megadeth, here's, he's like, oh, no. He's like, what's with that on the back? I'm like, oh, it's a Black Label Society, or a band. They're good. They're really good. You might like them. I got their CD in the truck. I'll give you. You can borrow it if you want, man. It's a pretty good CD. He's like, no. He's like, what's up with that patch? I go, it's a band. He goes, do you understand what that patch is? I go, yeah, it's a band. It's like, he's like, do you understand about rockers and centerpieces? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I go, looks like a motorcycle vest. I know that. And he's like, and he takes the time and he stops and he lays out the education on me on how the rockers work. He explains MC cube, even though that's not an MC cube, middle piece, all that fun stuff. And he's like, hey, and he lays down the education. He goes, now I know that's a band, and most people out there are going to know that it's not a thing. But wrong place, wrong time. you might get somebody who's upset about that, and you might have a problem. He's like, he's like, oh wow, I didn't know that. He's like, yeah. He goes, you might want to consider changing that. I'm not going to tell you to change it, but you might want to consider changing it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'll think about it. And I head on out the door, jump in my truck, head home. Hang my coat up, and I think about it for a couple of days before I put the coat back on, and I actually end up cutting that shirt off the back and sewing on an American flag for a little bit there before I end up putting the Skinner patch on there. And I was like, okay. And I understood, I was glad to get that education. It was great. It was a cool thing. Fast forward just a little bit down the road, just about to buy my bike, and I am getting ready. I've got very little money saved, but I am bound and determined to get my bike soon. And I'm talking to driver. He's like, can you help me find a Harley? He's like, yeah, sure. He's like, how much money you got? I'm like, I got like $1,000. He's like, I can get you a frame for $1,000. I'm like, I want to get a Harley. He's like, because might want to get into a club and all that stuff somewhere down the road and this and that. He's like, no. He's like, take your money, get yourself a good quality bike. Get yourself the best bike you get with your money. You're not going to get much with $1,000, but see if you can put some more money together and get yourself a decent bike. Japanese is fine. You're not going to be riding in a club with anybody for quite a while anyhow, so don't sweat getting a Harley. Get something to learn on. Learn to ride well. Because if you can't ride, hang out at the club. I was like, okay, that makes sense. That makes good sense, Again, it was good free advice that I got by asking the right questions and then shutting this and opening these when advice was being doled back out to me. Time progresses. I actually take out a personal loan to purchase a better motorcycle than I was going to buy. I buy a Suzuki Intruder 1400 for my first bike. Love the bike. This is now 2000. Got to be 2004 when I buy this bike. And I'm riding around, just putting my miles on, just putting, wearing a leather jacket, just putting my miles on. First season, just trying to ride as much as I can, get it figured out. Second season, I've been riding for a while, so I'm starting to get a little cocky. I buy the newbie leather vest that has all the patches already on it, and I got that for a little while, riding around, put some time in, and then it's time to progress. I'm like, I'm sick of looking like all these other new leather guys that are out there. I'm riding a lot. I'm riding a lot. I may not get long trips in, but I'm always on my bike if I'm on the road. And I start to advance. I'm like, all right, start adding extra patches. And I'm like, the eagle that's on the back, this generic eagle, she's got to go, right? And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking around, and I find this patch online. And everybody knows this patch. And there's 1,000 videos about this patch, right? And I'm going to talk to you about the close this, open these, that education I got. So I'm walking out the door. The driver happens to be in the building, hanging out with the same person he was hanging out with the first time I had that conversation with him about the heavy metal jacket. And I'm walking out. He's like, "Hey, Joe." He's like, "Hey, come on over here." I'm like, "Hey, man, what's up?" He's like, "Hey, what's up with the vest?" I go, "Yeah, I got it, like." And it's the patchwork leather vest too, where it's like made out of the scraps. And we're talking, and he's like, "Well, what's up with that patch on the back?" And I'm like, "Oh, it says it's a lone wolf, no club. It just says I'm riding alone." He's like, "Well, what do you think it means?" I go, "It means I'm riding by myself. I'm not in a club. Like, that's all." He's like, "Well, what about those rockers?" I go, "It's not rockers. It's a single piece patch." He goes, I go, "It means, to me it means I ride by myself, and I'm not in a club. but it's me showing respect to you guys. He's like, but I want you to really stop and think for a second. And I just kind of want you to think about this for a minute, And I'm like, okay. He's like, what do you think it means when I see that? And I'm going down the road. I go, I think it means that you see somebody who's riding by himself. He's like, what do you think it means to me when I see what looks like two rockers and a centerpiece as I'm going down the road? And I'm like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. I'm like, why do they sell this thing? He's like, I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about that at all. I just thought it was a nice thing to cover up some real estate because my back, being black backed that's a lot of real estate to not be covered. He's like, yeah. He's like, just like, I'm not telling you to get rid of it. He goes, but there are some people that may take that the wrong way if you're in the wrong place. And I'm like, yeah, I got you. I get it, man. I will, you're right. I'll take care of that. And I get home, I cut it off. I put the American flag that was on the back of the rock and roll vest on the back of the biker vest as a placeholder until I got what I have now. That's actually been transferred to another vest since then. But yeah, bad stuff happens with some of these things with vests. And I'm grateful for getting educated the easy way rather than getting educated the hard way about vests and patches and stuff. And I'm not going to get into the details. I'm not going to be doing club videos. I'm going to do one video about clubs. Kind of. It's going to be a comedy video about it. Not poking fun at clubs, but poking fun at a situation. But I'm not in clubs. I don't have the right to speak on clubs and what clubs do. But I do know that some of these things are problems. It's been emphasized enough that clubs find some of those actions disrespectful, and so I try to be right. But yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that's a little bit of a story that kind of shows you where if you shut this and open these, you can get a little bit of a free education, and people respect you and give you some information that can help you out down the road. Alright guys, next thing I want to talk about is about the future of this channel. It's not that it's in any jeopardy, not that there's going to be a lot of notice if it were to go away either. I do this channel for me. I want to do things that are enjoyable to me, but I also want to make a watchable channel for other people. I'm more than willing to cough up money to try to make content that I want to create. I've spent stupid money on cameras over the last couple months. I'm willing to spend money on streaming services to be able to watch shows to review and discuss with you guys if there's something you guys really want me to see and think that would be good for me to talk about with you guys. I'm willing to spend some money to pick up merchandise to talk about and review. I'm willing to drop a few bucks to be able to go places to talk about places. I am centralized in the Chicago area, so I can't be flying all over the country. I do have a job, and I work weekends, so it's a little bit tough for me to get out on a weekend like a Saturday, Sunday. But I am willing to drop a few bucks here and there to try to get things to create the content. So please, 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 let me know what you want. If you want me to talk about, trying to get there, trying to create a little bit of varied content. Let me know, man. I want to make a watchable channel for people that aren't just me. That being said, I think we're going to wrap this episode up. Please, like I said, comment what you want me to do, what you want me to continue doing, what you like, what you dislike, what you'd like me to talk about. And about this episode, tell me if you've ever been to Jesse Oaks. Tell me about your early writing experiences. Let's talk. I definitely would like to do that. I also want to start having some Zoom calls with some people as well. that we can record and put on this channel as also. Like, comment, subscribe. Please do those things. Those will help me. Those will help YouTube make me a suggestion for other people to help expand my channel. It's super important to me that if you guys hit like, if you guys hit subscribe, you know, it puts me in front of other people and maybe helps me find an audience that's, you know, gets me around and will help me expand. Find me on the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Big Nerdy Biker. Also on Linktree, linktr.ee/BigNerdyBiker. That's where I've got all the social media links housed. And also got an Amazon wish list there with some of the equipment I'm trying to get for making the channel. And a couple of things on there that I might review on the channel. I've been purchasing off my own wish list to get the equipment I need for some of the stuff I want to do. And then I think that's about going to do it, man. I appreciate you guys watching the videos. I'll catch you guys on down the road. I'll see ya. Bye. All right, guys. The next thing is no.